3 movement hacks to help your squad click. Now, I've been working with a client whose organisation is going through a structural change in terms of the way that all the people work together. They're changing the way their people work by adopting the Agile Framework, where people work in clusters known as tribes and squads. Squads are small, self-managed teams made up of people with different professional specialities. So there might be a PR and marketing person, with a coder, with somebody from finance. So all the people across the business come together into these different squads. And then there are tribes, and the tribes are made up of larger groups of several squads together. So you get several squads, you put them together, and you then have a tribe. Now, reorganizing a workforce around the Agile framework is thought to change the dynamics of the organization. It's thought to foster increased collaboration, faster decision-making, and greater autonomy for individuals and teams. I suppose the reason it's doing that is because you're bringing specialists from different departments together, you're making them work in a small team, and there should be this increase of collaboration. And when you get an increase in collaboration, you then get all the other benefits to do with decision-making and autonomy, etc. Now, with regards to increasing collaboration, particularly from a psychological perspective, it's important that the squad members, there are 4 things that they need to really do. 1, they need to like each other. Now that sounds very trivial, but it's really important. The second thing is they need to trust each other. The third thing is they need to feel aligned around a set of shared values. And 4, the team members need to be prepared to be proactive and help one another. They need to show pro-social behaviour towards each other so that things can get done. So what has movement or dance got to do with any of this? When I work with people working in Agile frameworks, there's not dance as part of the core element of that, but I think there should be. And the reason I think there should be is because dance and movement bring a whole load of benefits which help people come together. Now, we know that research, notably by Tarr et al. 2016 and by Wiltermuth and Heath 2009, shows that when people move together in synchrony, they report these 4 and other positive changes. What we know from the research is that when people move together in synchrony, they report, amongst other things, 1, an increase in how much they like each other, which is extraordinary. Even complete strangers, when they move together, report liking each other more afterwards, which is fantastic. The second thing is that levels of trust between group members goes up when they move together in synchrony. The third thing is that people feel more similar to each other in terms of their values, their psychological, their core values when they move together. And 4, when people move together, they are more likely to show pro-social, helpful behaviour towards the other people with whom they've been moving. So if you get a squad moving together, so let's imagine 6 or 8 people who don't know one another, they're all professional members of a team with perhaps different disciplines, different backgrounds, and you bring them together, then having them move together in synchrony can have these 4 amazing benefits. But of course, people get scared by movement. They say, I don't quite know what to do. How do I move together? Do I have to learn a dance routine? Do I have to dress up? And the answer is no. But we know there are many ways of using movement and dance to foster greater collaboration between group members. So here are 3 to get you started. Now, the first one is really simple. All you have to do with the first one is to go for a walk or hold a walking meeting. Now, I know this might sound a trivial thing to do, but walking and moving together can have significant benefits in terms of social connectedness and professional cohesion. If you want the academic evidence on this, there's a wonderful recent paper. So have a look, which looks at the link between walking and social connectedness. So see a paper by Glover, Todd and Moyer from 2022. I'll put a link to it somewhere down below. Now, of course, we know that walking is fantastic, and it's fantastic in a business context. It's one of the reasons why so much business is done on a golf course, Because let's face it, it's not about the golf. It's not about hitting a ball. It's not about having expensive clubs or belonging to a particular club or going to a particular place. It's all about the walking. And when people are walking together, you get those benefits. Of course, we all know the saying that golf is a good walk spoiled. So anyway, you can cut out the golf, just do the walking, and that'll be really good. So that's our first movement hack. The second movement hack is to think about your movement dynamics. So, and you can do this after you've done the walk. So now notice the movement dynamics of your squad. Thinking about the other people in the squad. Who is fast in their movements? Who's slow? Who gets close up to you? And who stands a long distance away from you? Who has big movements and who has small movements? So now notice, without judgment, the impact that different movement dynamics have on the squad. Who's in front? Who opens the door? So now get to know the movement habits of your squad. When I worked at a university, we used to go for lunch quite regularly together, and there'd be a group of us always going to lunch. And there was one person in the group who always just stood back to allow somebody else to open the door. And he was always the first person to walk through that door. It was really interesting. Well, as soon as you notice, you realise that he wanted to be the alpha in the group. And one of the ways he did that was to manipulate how he positioned himself in the group as we were walking along to have somebody else open the door for him. So how does that work in your group? What are the dynamics from your group? For a deep dive into movement dynamics and how movement might be applied in, well, everyday life, read a book called The Mastery of Movement by Rudolf von Laban. Now, the book was first published in 1950, but it's still highly relevant today. Okay, let's have a look at our third movement hack. What I suggest you do here in your movement hack is to create a simple movement signature for your squad. Now, it needs to be designed by you, for you, as a creative group, and you all do it together. So it needs to be something that all of you can do. Now, it could be a basic clapping rhythm. You might, have it could be something like that. Or it could be, might be an arm stretch or a standing up, sitting down pattern that you might start and end squad meetings with. So let's try one out. So you might be the thing, this is a really good one, and it's really, really simple. We call this a dose of Dr. Dance. Right, here we go. So let's put one arm up, and then the other arm up, and then the other arm up, and then the other arm up, and we click 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and now clap. Now, doing that together is a really good way to synchronize your movements. So you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, clap. And it's great. And try to get the clap at exactly the same time as each other. So somebody might count you all in. You might go, and a 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you do the movement, do, da, ba, doosh, and see if you can all clap at exactly the same moment, like it sounds like one clap. So your squad movement signature could be something like that. Now, if you want some more ideas about movement signatures, so have a look at the Dr. Dance catalogue, where you'll find dozens and dozens of movements that hopefully will inspire you to move. So there we are. That's the end of these 3 movement hacks to help your squad click. And if you want any other help, don't hesitate to get in touch with me, Dr. Dance. Hey!